Well, Professor Jamet, you've had a long and distinguished career where you've tried to take innovative approaches to psychiatry and psychopathology. And today you had a discussion on your reflections on the relationship between other sciences and psychiatry. What do you think are the essential elements of that?
Yes, I think it's very important to know because especially in psychiatry we are always split between what's the part of the psychic, the psyche, and what's the part of the biology, and we have a lot of struggle about this. And in fact, I think it's important to think about we are animals, but we have a big change. And at a certain moment of the evolution, this change became qualitative, not only quantitative but qualitative. And I think it's important to consider that the human are the only one who have the capacity to self-consciousness, a reflexive capacity to see oneself. And it has changed in the scale of the animal evolution. It's a big change. And I think that's a specificity. And it's important to consider because with this conscience of ourselves, we become conscious of our dependency from the others. And as the other animals, to grow up, we need to nourish from the others, from the external world. But we are the only one who at the same time, to be themselves, they have the obligation to be different from the other. So it's a paradoxal situation.
So it's in part the ability to look at oneself, but in part to put oneself in the context of the others in our community.
Yes. And immediately you feel that you need the others. And at the same time, you feel I have to be different from the other. And especially on adolescence. I am a specialist on adolescence. And it's why I think so many adolescents can't tolerate this dependency, mainly when they are very dependent, when you have a good self-image, when you feel secure, you don't need too much of the other. The more you are insecure, more you need the other, more it's difficult to accept this need because you become dependent.
So let me ask you a question. If part of what makes the human animal unique is the capacity to self-reflect, does the role of the ability to conceive of the thinking of the others in your human group also represent something unique? Or is that shared with other animals?
No, it begins between certain animals, but it's much more important in the human. And this capacity to think about the differences between you and the mind of the other, the theory of the mind, it's a very big step. But at the same time, this possibility make you a little bit confused because emotionally, and the emotion are the more animals part of ourselves, nobody chooses his emotion. You don't choose. You can refuse, you can control or not, but you don't choose your emotions. That's the animal parts. And if your emotion is provoked by someone, it's a kind of aggression of your territory. And the human can choose to refuse what they need. I need to be supported by you, but if I need to be supported by you, or if I love you, I become dependent from you. So I can choose to refuse this dependency. And for example, to refuse to eat, to refuse to work, to refuse to have a sociability. And I have the feeling to become independent. No, I am not independent. In fact, I am against the other. But I can nourish myself. And I became more and more dependent. I am obliged to become more and more in opposition with you. That is a specificity, human specificity. The capacity to refuse what you need because you feel free when you refuse.
So are you suggesting that there's a developmental tension between the self-reflective intent of gaining independence and the need for dependence on the community?
Yeah.
And how one manages that tension is...
And at the same time, you need to keep attention from the other, and you refuse this attention. There is a compromise. It's opposition and negative behaviors.
So how does this get specifically reflected in psychopathology? Can you give us some examples of form of psychopathology where this gets played out to the maximum?
But you don't choose your psychopathology. I think it's a way for the ego, for the individual to master his feeling. But you can choose to change, or you can choose to have the temptation to stay close in your psychopathology. For anorexia nervosa, for example, it's a good example. If the anorexic don't eat, it's because they are afraid to become bulimic. They are very interested by food, too interested. But the food is a kind of pretext. And every pathology, I think it's a way to become, to feel more independent. And you feel independent when you can become active, not passive. And when you have pleasure, you can't control. You don't master the other. When you have an opposition, when you fight, you have the feeling to master. If I refuse, I am my master, And I think it's the creativity, the human capacity, the human capacity of creativity is also destructivity. When you destroy, you become actively your master.
So how does this fit with disorders such as bipolar disorder or autism? How does this construct fit there?
Yes, I think in autism, it's before this capacity of self-consciousness.
So it's the lack of...
It's a lack.
So in some sense, it's a failure to be able to move to the level of...
So they also have very primitive reaction to separation, to the need for the other, very intensive. But it's a little bit, it's before this capacity of self-consciousness. And you can say, I have not chosen to be born, but I can choose to die. And I think that's a temptation of the suicide for young people, for example. It's not that they want really to die, except in melancholia and some very biological disorders. But more often, it's a way to become master of their life. I am deceived, I can refuse. That is specifically human, and that is a specificity of the psychiatry. If it's only a question of emotion, it's a kind of neurology. It's a neurology of the emotion. But the problem is now our consciousness of ourselves make we have paradoxical answers. And we can prefer to die, to refuse drug, to refuse treatment, and keep the feeling to be your master. Don't depend, you don't depend from anyone. That's the specific temptation in psychiatry we don't have in the other somatic illnesses.
So the uniqueness of the human psyche is this dynamic tension between sense of self, being creative, and strive for independence versus dependence and how one masters or takes control of their life and their existence.
Exactly. It is why I think we have to know biology of the emotion, but we have to understand also the question of the representation of ourselves and our values. And the human for values.
Right.
It means for have the feeling to be important for someone by the values, are able to do the worst things and the best.
Right. That's wonderful. Well, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to talk with us today, and and for your clear and thoughtful explanations. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your
Lovely.
interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.